Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore. This is Film Threat. Wait, gotta turn that music down. Gotta turn that music down for a bit. We'll just have it in the background. We're live. I am about as pre-coffee as you can get. Hope you're having a good Friday. We have a lot to discuss today. Let me go through this list. This is kind of crazy. We are talking about the season finale of Velma. Plus, yeah, I went to see Magic Mike's Last Dance last night. Titanic has a 4K 3D re-release. Indie film Consecration and the Outwaters. Plus, we have the filmmaker and lead actor Robbie Banfitch from the Outwaters here today talking to us, and the writer-director of Swallowed, Carter Smith. Hopefully, both of the filmmakers are going to be here to talk to us. Prepare your questions, check out those movies, and Alan Ng is going to be joining us very soon as well. Let's get things started. It's the Film Threat Livecast on a Friday. Wait, why do I always do this like quick intro? I mean, I guess you could just read the description. I don't know. Come on, let's go. It's a Friday.
Wow. Hey.
Hey, Alan. What's going on, man?
I'm a little overwhelmed.
Hey, you and me both.
I know.
We're talking about just everything going on in our lives right now. It's just like, it's just a little overwhelming.
I'm cramming everything.
Yeah, that's how
I had to see Velma last night, and I also saw Consecration. It's just a cram station. Then you have to figure out what you think about it.
Right. I don't have to spend long figuring out what I thought of a couple of these things. But yeah, no, dude. We've been kind of like burning the candle at both ends, both of us. I mean, for personal things, but also just like there's so much. Look, and we have Ant-Man next week.
Oh, that's right. On Monday.
Monday, you and Dante and I are going to see Ant-Man. We'll do an early reaction out of the theater, so I'll post that. And then 9 a.m. on Tuesday, February 14th, Alan and I will be spending Valentine's Day together that morning, along with Dante. We'll make it interesting, and we'll tell you our thoughts, because that's when the embargo breaks, and we want to actually do it immediately. Yeah. We want to get that out immediately. It will be non-spoiler.
What will be fun is watching our review evolve over the week.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, well, because I like to see like a big movie like that. I like to see more than once, and sometimes your initial reaction can kind of be like, yeah, that was fun, forgettable and fun, which is kind of what I expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder, we experienced that. I think our initial reactions became much more tempered as the days rolled by.
Exactly. But it's just like, I don't know. I mean, my expectations are kind of low for an Ant-Man movie anyways, but it seems like they're kind of late in setting up everything to happen in the MCU. So there you go. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. Are you grabbing those chat comments and questions?
Yes. You should see them there.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna find it. Okay, yeah. It's a look here. I need to put this up right now. I am definitely pre-coffee right now. And Alan is in a secret location in his daughter's old bed. When is it getting painted, Alan?
Well, as you know, I've got something big this weekend.
Yeah.
And then after that, I can, sit down. We gotta, there's a lot of work just taking all that down.
All right. Well,
and then there's a bed here that can't move. So
okay. Well, maybe you can live stream it. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Cool. All right. Let's see who's in the chat. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Friday. Oh, wait, we've got some super chats here already. That's great. 6 Foot Soka for $4.99 says, hi, Chris and Alan. Always enjoy the live shows. Have a great weekend. Wow. Simple as that. No ask. No, can I get something? Can you answer a question? Just a thank you. That is so rare. And I will say I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dream Profit for $1.99 says, what's 34.5 plus 34.5? Good morning. Wait, what is it? I mean, Alan, I'm not the math guy.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
easy.
not the
That's
math guy here.
let's see. That's 69. Yeah, that's right.
We're okay.
I mean, we already have a clip of me saying it. Why do we need more?
Hit 66,600 and something, but I had to screen cap it and post it on our community. It's like we're 666. We are racing towards 69,000. There will be a special celebration when that happens. Let's get to some more chat comments and questions. CD Stein 69 says, "Hail Chris, Alan, and the rest of you beautiful drunks in the Film Thread chat. We have come to a close on Alan's current torment with the end of the Elma season." Wait, I think you mean Velma. What can
I think the point is this is not Velma.
Yeah, what can we torture him with next? Oh, good. I like that. I like that idea. I was tortured last night. We're going to get into it. Scary Gary, morning boys. Thank you for your sacrifice watching Velma, Alan.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ezer D for 20 euros. No comment, but just 20. Thank you so much, Ezer D. If you meant to leave a chat, just let us know. If you I've done that. I've been giving people a super chat. Forgot the message. Thanks for the sacrifice, Alan. There we go. That's good. Chris needs all the coffee he can get after watching Magic Mike, says Solomon Thornton. You have no idea. How long till Gore says RRR, place your bets now, says Spider Geronimo. I said it in the chat. I said it reading your chat comment. Solomon Thornton saw RRR yesterday. Man, the crowd was ecstatic. It felt like a wrestling event. I felt the same way. I have been to those.
Yeah. So 8 minutes.
Anyone see that History of the World Part 2 trailer? Did anyone laugh? Alan, you've seen
I am 4 episodes in. And I will say that first episode is hilarious. I have not laughed so hard at TV series in a long time. That first episode is must see. And then it just kind of goes on its Mel Brooks way as it goes on. But yeah, we'll talk more about it when it comes out.
All right. Okay. Cool. John Manilang is here. Yes, Toto was an awesome guest. Oh, I'm glad you like Christian Toto. We'll have to have that be a recurring thing, like maybe once a month or so, especially when he has like a good article. I think we actually helped him come up with an article while we were on the show, Alan.
Yeah. You just ruined all my goodwill.
Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here's a thread. How's your father? Says, anyone play Hogwarts Legacy yet? Yes, I am playing it. I am now going to different classes. It's just, typical adventure game, puzzle with some combat. It's less open world than I would have liked. It's more kind of leading you by the nose to the next thing. And actually, I just want to discover it.
From what I understand, once basically you're in the training phase,
right?
And once you get out of the training phase, it becomes much more open world.
Well, I want to get to the open world,
and just the fact that you can play as any house, and then there are choices you make that just kind of bring nuance to it. It adds to its replayability, and so that's my understanding of how this works.
Oh, wait, Gary's trying on his channel. It's hilarious, says David Glenn. Oh, so Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic is trying to play Hogwarts Legacy. I bet he hates it. Shucksy, great. Now I have to watch Gary and Film Thread at the same time. By the way, I have done that. I have had 2 YouTube channels on at the same time. I've also done this thing, like I'll watch Flashcast with Yellow Flash on Saturday nights. What I'll be doing is playing a video game, and then I just have Flashcast like on my iPad so I can listen to it while I'm playing some shooter or some game where I don't have to pay attention to it. So I usually am gaming and listening to Flashcast on a Saturday night. This is the wild and crazy Saturday nights that I have these days. Although, Alan, I'm a little disappointed you didn't notice my shirt.
Oh, hey, great shirt.
You like this shirt?
I know. That will probably be my next shirt, by the way.
Yeah, what movie inspired this shirt? Anybody? I feel like this is a dark shirt. It's navy blue. But Yeah, this is now my new favorite shirt. I am wearing this. I might wear it Monday. I might not even wash it. That's how excited I am about this shirt. All right. Boy, the chat is on fire. Eswar Venagala, thank you. 449 of something.
It's rupees.
Rupees. Eswar Venagala, 449 rupees. Thank you for your support. Not superhero fatigue, but bad story fatigue. Preach, but do it in a proper way with good storytelling that we could get behind. I am 100% in agreement. And can't wait to give you our thoughts. Spider Geronimo as Heels versus Babyface, also playing Hogwarts. Top Gun, says Rambam 3000. Kelpie, hey folks, just watched David Cullen's preview of Picard season 3. Sounds good. Maybe we finally turned a corner in the entertainment industry. I hope. Quinta says this is not an official Film Threat live until Alan's dog is chewing some random dog toy in the background. Is your dog around?
Yeah, she's off camera chewing on some random dog toy.
Oh, well then there you go.
Yeah, she's here though.
Fear the Turtle for 10 says, guys, thank you for what you do. You put in a ton of work to deliver these streams, and we all appreciate it. I'm having an annoying day, so I jumped on here to boost my spirits. So thank you guys. I've had an annoying last couple days, but I'm in a good mood when I'm talking to you. Even talking to Alan, I'm in a good mood. So there you go. Even Alan puts me in a good mood. Yes, interesting. Elliot Cecil for $4.99. Did y'all hear about the live action Spider-Man Noir series announcement from Amazon? Only it won't be with Peter Parker. Yes, I heard about this announcement. They're doing Spider-Man Noir, which Noir was one of the Spider-Man. Alan, could you bring up like a picture or something? So it's based on the character that was in Spider-Verse, that was sort of a noir version of Spider-Man, like black and white. It's going to be live action. This is very, very strange. So I don't know.
But the thing is, Sony's behind it versus Marvel. Yeah.
Right. So that's Spider-Man Noir. It's going to be live action, and it's going to be on Amazon.
Yeah.
Now
and it was a comic book.
Yeah,
it was based on the comic book.
Right. Is this going to lead into more Sony television series in addition? Sony has the Spider-Man license. Will Sony now be spinning off and doing live action shows? I mean, they're doing animation. They're doing, I don't know. I think they're doing, in my opinion, I think they're doing a better job than Marvel when it comes to storytelling. I mean, the last really good Marvel movie was Spider-Man No Way Home. So there you go. Scary Gary. Oh, sorry, Alan.
Money. The Sony want to roll in giant pile of money, and and clearly they're doing a better job at it than Marvel is.
Oh, Alan, you're glitching again. I think you might be back. Scary Gary says, "Morning, boys. Thank you for your sacrifice watching Velma, Alan. Goodfellas or The Godfather 2, which is better? That is an easy question for me." Alan, you go first.
Godfather 2.
Godfather 2. Godfather 2 is just I mean it's
Shakespeare, quite frankly.
Yeah, it is. It's so and look, I also really love Goodfellas. But it's like comparing flavors of ice cream. It's maybe your personal taste. Both are delicious. But I would say if forced to choose, Godfather 2. Here we go. And thank you for the $1.99, Elliot. Clever Luther Talbot for 5 says, Chris, I wanted to give a shout out to my son, Jet. Chess team is competing at state today and tomorrow. Good luck, Greenview Bulldogs. All right, Jet, get in there and you checkmate those guys. Checkmate, Jet. You can do it, Jet. Checkmate. Alan.
Yeah, go for the king. Go for the king.
Go for the king, Jet. You can do it. Thank you, Luther Talbot. We appreciate it. Cool. All right. That'll wrap up our chat questions and comments for now. Let's get into it. Alan, I need to tell you something. I need to tell. Wait, I want to get a graphic here that might be better. I need to tell you something. I couldn't just leave you alone. I could not just leave you alone when it came to Velma in the season finale. I watched the last 2 episodes of Velma. I didn't watch any of the other episodes. I turned on the what episode was it? 7?
No, 7, 8,
or not, whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Second to last, the last 2 new episodes. Turn it on, and they said previously on Velma. And then I got caught up, and I watched the last 2 episodes because I felt, I'm watching one movie. Magic Mike, you've watched this entire season of this show, which is like what, 6-8 hours, something like that.
So 5 hours.
5 hours, so ish. So I decided to watch it. Before I tell you my thoughts, Alan, tell us about the season finale of Velma.
Yes. So as you all know, and as we all care, there's a serial killer out in whatever town this is, and they're chopping off the brains of pretty girls, and that's the whole mystery of all 10 episodes. So what's happening now is this is episode 9. Velma's mother has been found, and she is suffering from amnesia. And so in episode 9, Velma has to create a happy environment of happy memories as to jog Velma's mother's memory, because she knows the identity of the serial killer. And so, as you know, at this point, because Velma's mother has been missing, Velma's father hooked up with the waitress at the local diner and had a baby together while she was missing. Also, because of the events of the last episode, Daphne and Fred are no longer popular. And so, and then Daphne has finally said, okay, let's let this girlfriend thing with Velma be a thing now. And so we're leaning into the relationship between Daphne and Velma, the romantic relationship there. And then Norval has finally given up on Velma and moved to a school that is all about LARPing. And then in episode 10, it's the final reveal. Velma's mother is in jail because she confessed to being the serial killer because she wanted to put the brain of a pretty girl into the brain of her ugly daughter. I think that's kind of how that worked.
No, you mean a popular girl?
A popular girl into the brain of her daughter. But of course, Velma doesn't believe that her mother is the serial killer. And thanks to the mystery machine gang, they're able to find out who the killer is. And I'm not going to spoil that because I know you all want to know who the killer is, who the serial killer is. And I will leave that a mystery. You're welcome.
Oh, well, and there goes Alan.
Come.
You're popping in and out, Alan.
I'm popping in and
out. You got to get that. You got to get. I mean, look, I'm not going to brag, but my internet's pretty good. 500 megabytes per second. Oh, that's so not bad. Alan,
it's my service. It's AT&T.
Oh, I canceled AT&T years ago. It's unreliable. Okay, Alan, you sound like a robot now. Why don't you might want to go and come back. I'll give you my quick take on it. Is I saw it, and based on everything everyone warned me about, yes, it's as annoying as everybody says. I don't think I laughed once. I may have had a small sort of crease of a smile, just like a little bit of a smile, but I never laughed in the last 2 episodes. I watched it out of morbid curiosity. I watched the show, and what I thought was interesting about it is that I think it's kind of making fun of everything, but in a way that is incredibly unfunny and seems to be only for like, I think someone said at the very beginning, this is like TV writers trying to one up each other is what it is. And it's not really so much focused on the story and the characters, and it really does a disservice to the legacy if it was truly set up as a prequel to Scooby-Doo. I mean, this isn't it. This is just Mindy Kaling being Mindy Kaling. It's like Mindy Kaling in a Velma suit in a TV series. And it's yeah, I mean, look, it didn't change my mind, but I wanted to see for myself. So I was kind of rubbernecking on the freeway, just looking like, you know what? I am going to slow down. You know, I always say to myself, just come on, traffic, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to slow down and look. I slowed down and look, and all it did is confirm what you've been saying all along, Alan. But now that I've seen for myself, I get it. I get like why people are sort of frustrated with this show. But I can also see enough people hate watching it that it actually gets picked up for a season 3. Alan, what are your thoughts?
All right. Am I any better here?
You look like you're on 56K on AOL, but that's all right.
Okay. Can you at least?
I don't know. Maybe better to go on your phone.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to some comments. Aaron Taylor says writer's room improv. I would agree with that. Everything about Velma sounds truly awful, says Sean Hu. And wait. Okay, sorry. I can't do the chat and do yeah. Robot Allen says the White Mat Studio. So there you go. I'm waiting for the announcement from James Gunn that the Velma series is clearly an Elseworld story like The Batman and Joker. 2001 A Space, Alan. Aaron Taylor says HBO Max has confirmed that Velma has done very well with viewership. You mean the people who made the show are telling you it did well? That's crazy.
Okay. There we go.
Dream Profit for $4.99 says, I often find myself defending the merits of BVS. That's Batman v Superman. It's one of my favorite comic book films. I think it's unfairly maligned. Can you guys back me up? I will back you up. Because I remember seeing Batman versus Superman for the first time and just almost dreading the experience and then actually enjoying it. I think that they just moved the story along too quickly, but I like Ben Affleck as Batman, Batfleck, whatever you want to call it. I thought he was stood toe to toe with Henry Cavill's Superman. I thought that worked really well. And I don't know. I don't hate that movie, but what I did not like about it was the marketing. I thought the marketing was so much. It was just so much. It was too much. They oversold the film. And I remember Zack Snyder talked about it just way too much. So, yeah. So there you go. Back to more comments here. I really need your help on.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay, cool.
Is this any better?
This is way better.
Yeah, it's weird because my desktop is on a hardwire, and I'm going wireless on. And for some reason I'm getting a better signal with this.
You're freeballing it, so to speak.
Yes, that's right.
Don't look up what that means. Don't look up what that means. More comments here. Alan, I'm glad you're back. I can't do the show without you as much as like there are a lot of funny videos about you.
Yeah.
People, you have a very memeable face.
And you do too. Why is this not growing?
That's your internet. This is your internet, Alan.
Why is this not growing?
How would you define exploitation, Alan?
Exploitation? Gratuitous. Gratuitousness.
Oh my God.
It was a mispronunciation, and it was in context.
That's why
the
I love
word
it.
I meant to say was in context with the conversation.
It's okay.
Raylo
Normie, who's a member, thank you for that. Does anyone in the chat know the killer? I doubt anyone watched the show besides Alan.
No, you said you saw it.
I did see it, so I know the killer. I wasn't super...
Yeah, but you didn't care about the killer because you barely knew the killer.
Should I ruin it? Chat.
I don't know. Do you really want to ruin it?
Y for yes, N for no. Y for yes, N for no. Right.
Hey, by the way, let me read some of the winning lines from Velma.
Okay, let's see.
Okay,
let's see how well you read them.
Yeah, here we go. I'll use my best.
Why is this not growing?
I'll use my best comedic timing here.
Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, she's freaking out and forgetting everything, like when Al Pacino returned to the stage.
Oh, yes, I remember. That was a terrible line. I thought, is that a joke? Like, I missed the reference.
I know. It's like, is this something Al Pacino is known for getting lines during?
By the way, it's 100% yes from the chat on Ruin It, who the killer is. So can we reveal? We'll reveal it right now.
Okay. Am I doing it or are you doing it?
It's Fred's mom. Fred's mom is the killer.
The white woman.
It's the white lady Karen is the killer. And then not only is it Fred's mom dies, after being revealed as the killer. And then Fred wants to go ghost hunting to find his mom. Did I pay attention enough to get that right? What?
Okay, so
do you have thoughts? Literally, everyone typed a Y.
I mean, at least in the original Scooby-Doo, there was a modicum of clues that you could kind of figure out the who did it. I don't think that necessarily the original series did it well, but at least it was there. This one was just, there was the things leading up to it really didn't matter. And, and of course the white woman had to be the killer. I mean, I think they subverted expectations by not making it Fred's father. So at least there's some creativity there, but this is the new style of storytelling.
Right. Alan is 96ing, says Murdoch 86. MK Solid 82 says, Chris, just watch the old Scooby-Doo episode with Sonny and Cher and call it a day. Wow. I always like when they integrated like different, like the Harlem Globetrotters would meet Scooby-Doo, or like they just cross over with like Dino Mutt or whatever. Like it was like this like connected universe. Marvel likes to think that they innovated that idea. That's existed for a long time. Do you remember Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman? Do you remember all the Universal the Universal monster movies from the 30s and 40s? They all connected at some point because they all met, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leo Cody, thank you, Leo Cody. Leo Cody killing it with the graphics and videos he's been sending away. Leo Cody for 5 says the killer is wokeness. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I will say about Velma being woke. It actually also makes fun of woke stuff as well.
Yeah, but only to placate. It's not really pointing out being woke. It's to placate the people who hate wokeness. It pretends to want to relate to people who don't like being woke, but does it in a way that is fairly condescending and fairly insulting.
Yeah, I would agree. But the thing is this, I expected to be annoyed by it, and I was just didn't care.
Yeah. Oh, here's a great line. So they say, I don't know how much longer I can take being unpopular. How do network sitcoms do it? And the answer is, hold on. And the answer is by maintaining an undying faith in looking backwards. And to me, that's the ultimate in arrogance. Because they're making a joke saying, hey, we can tell stories better than old time sitcoms. Because current, people who like traditional storytelling, they like looking backwards while we look forward. I mean,
and this is the result you get from this new style of storytelling.
Well, okay. Let's. There's so many good comments here.
Yeah.
I want to get through these. Andrew Montpetit says even the anti-woke jokes annoyed me because they're still terrible. On that, I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least they were there. It's like they're like, hey, we're going to not make anyone laugh on this show by annoying both sides. People who are annoyed by wokeness, people who like wokeness in their shows. Like it already is just by the fact that, you know, Mindy Kaling is basically Velma. Spider Geronimo says Velma is passive progressive. Dude B says, weren't Kiss in Scooby-Doo?
Yes, they were.
Okay, cool. Okay, good confirmation. Dom T, who's a member, says the new Scooby-Doo movies were awesome. Three Stooges, Globetrotters, Addams Family. Yeah, I really liked those. As a kid, I love those crossovers because the idea that all these characters existed in the same universe, it was fun. It was cool. Pilgrim Media for 5 says, I watched Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman and Frankenstein, the creature from the Black Lagoon on 8mm. By the way, I also did. I had a Super 8 projector when I was a kid, and I built a movie theater in my house because of course I did. I literally cut through the drywall of the laundry chute, which led into another room. I put my projector there. I ran a speaker wire to a single speaker in that room, and I built a movie theater in my home. I was 9 years old. I was a crazy person. And how I got the money to do this, because my mom would give me like an allowance, but only if I did certain chores, which amounted to like wash the dishes, do the and I had to mow the lawn. So I had to do those kind of chores and the occasional like paint the garage. But I had newspaper routes from the time I was 9 years old through the age of 19. I'm literally I was in college and I was delivering newspapers. So there you go. Hank VP says Alan needs a raise after watching Velma.
Oh,
well,
hell yeah, he does.
Well, Alan is getting a PS5 at some point after he paints that room. And I can't wait to give it to him.
Yeah, look how pink that is. I did that, by the way. I painted that.
Okay, you have to repaint it, Alan. Did we decide on a color yet?
I mean, I hate to be dull and boring, but so far the consensus seems to be around eggshell white.
How about cream?
Cream.
You could go cream.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna put lights up, then you do want white.
Yeah. Let's see. The Nerd Far Away. Daft Punk would have been a fun cameo on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, you know, if it were like Scooby-Doo now, I mean, they didn't exist in the 70s and 80s. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein was the greatest, as MK Solid 82. I love those movies, as cheesy as they were. I love the Universal Monster movies when I was a kid. And you watch them now, and they're incredibly slow moving and kind of boring. Thankfully, all under 90 minutes. I think Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, is like 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a feature film. But with Abbott and Costello, which I love, you know, seeing them meet these Universal monsters was good. Fear the Turtle 21 says, go watch the Supernatural crossover with Scooby. One of the best Supernatural episodes and one of the best Scooby-Doo crossovers out there. Great episode. Wait a sec. Supernatural is a live action show. So how did you do it?
Yeah, I barely remember that this was a thing. I've never seen it. But
so that happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, let me give you one of the woke jokes here.
More woke jokes. Okay.
Yeah. So Velma's mother is arrested, and Daphne Velma decides to take the heat for it. She bursts into the police station and says, "Officers, arrest me. I've committed the only crime worse than eating ethnic food on an airplane."
Oh, yeah, the ethnic food on an airplane. I hate when someone does that. They bring on food that stinks up the entire plane, but one person is eating it. Like anything deep fried or McDonald's or like any sort of fast food, I find it incredibly rude. But you know,
I like the fact that you were able to connect with a Velma joke.
I connected with the context not the joke. Real quick question, Glanuccio, our intrepid producer, he produces the clips. He does all our thumbnails. I didn't get the Ice Cube thing on the Velma, and he says it's a reference to the Bye Felicia.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. So, but do most people in the chat, do you get it, chat? Chat, do you get the joke? Y for yes, N for no. I'm typing an N.
I'm just saying I got it. Here, I'll type in yes.
I'm typing an N.
I'm typing a Y.
All right. Okay. Well, I didn't get it. I'm like, bye Velma? Like, what's Ice Cube doing there? Like, I don't get. I just think that our thumbnails, please, and like anyone who comments on this, I will read your comment. Do our thumbnails need to be super clever? Do Alan and I need to be in it all the time? I feel like if you just, I don't know. We don't.
Yeah.
But also, by the way, Glanuccio is knocking it out of the park with everything that he's doing. I feel like sometimes he might fly too close to the sun. With those wings tethered together with wax. See if anyone gets that reference. No one will. Fear the Turtle 21 says Sam and Dean get sucked into the Scooby cartoon and it makes fun of the tropes while solving a murder and convince the gang it's real. It makes fun of the cartoon, but also shows a ton of love for it. I never saw that. Oh, that's
so they're trying to convince the gang that ghosts are real. I think that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Special Agent Bill Maxwell. It was cool when Wonder Woman had roped Doomsday and was pulling him down. Reference to the BVS conversation earlier. The best part of Velma is that it's over. All right, let's see our impromptu poll now.
What's by the way, what initials did you?
Oh my God! Somebody got Icarus. Somebody got my Icarus reference. Wow,
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Because we all saw
it. That was Jimmy Francis. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes, everyone's saying yes. Yes, Icarus. Wow. God, we have a smart audience. We have a very smart audience. Flaccid Phoenix says Glenn is crushing it. I just think that I just, you know what? I don't know Ice Cube. I know Ice Cube's earlier work. I don't know the Bye Felicia thing.
Oh my.
Glenn is doing a great job. All right, fine.
Bye Felicia is people talk about that all the time.
Okay. I not in my pop culture.
I'm sorry, non-white people talk about that all the time.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
All right, look, I stand corrected. I was like, can we just have a picture of Velma and covered how about just Velma's naked in the show? We could have used naked Velma as a thumbnail, couldn't we have? We'll see.
Not if we want to stay monetized.
Pilgrim Media says, as a white man, is it wrong to love Taco Tuesday? Pilgrim Media for 2. No, I love tacos. When I was a kid, I used to get those taco kits. Taco Bell, I loved. It was like my favorite fast food. There was an area in downtown Detroit where you could go and get Mexican food, and I loved it. Now, little did I know, I was eating the worst Mexican food ever because I was eating it in the Midwest in Detroit. Moved out to California, to the Los Angeles area, and now I enjoy amazing, authentic Mexican food. I highly recommend a restaurant, El Coyote on Beverly Boulevard, actually almost directly across the street from the New Beverly Cinema owned by Quentin Tarantino. So go see a movie there, go to El Coyote, which is featured in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But yeah,
hey, a little secret here though, but Mexican restaurants, they love it when white people come in on Tuesdays and buy tacos. They love it when they come in on Wednesday and buy tacos.
You know what? I am unabashedly a fan of Taco Tuesday. What's wrong with that? In fact, some people have suggested that tacos are kind of taking over like the cheeseburger, hamburger. You know, hamburgers and hot dogs are kind of like American fare. And there's some are suggesting that the taco is taking over as the favorite. Wait, you put a thing, best text.
No, I'm trying to star these things, but
yeah, it's Alan and I again, we really need someone to help us out. And I'm so busy, I don't have time to interview people, to talk, to train them to do moderating the chat. I'm waiting for Ryan to finish his gig because I want to get Ryan back here. More comments, and then we're going to pivot to
you got
other
that
films. Wait, we already got that one.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm sorry. You know, Alan and I are doing the best I can. Alan has bad internet. We're doing the best we can. The nerd far away. Taco Tuesday is for everyone. I would agree. Cultural appreciation is not cultural appropriation, says Alan Horkin. You know who told me that? I interviewed once was Spike Lee. Spike Lee told me, yeah, cultural appreciation, that's a good thing. I interviewed him years ago for a movie, and we bonded on a bunch of things. I did not expect that. But I think the best comment here is Spooky First says the best part about Velma is that it's over.
Yeah, that's why episode 10 was probably the best episode of the entire
because it's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Pilgrim Media says I was being ironic. Humans love tacos. Yeah, humans love tacos. I would agree. So
yeah, and you know, I think most restaurants would love to sell tacos to more than just Mexicans.
And Alan Orkin,
maybe to everybody.
Alan Orkin is cool. I accidentally quoted Spike Lee. Well, I mean, it was sort of the spirit of what we got in this whole conversation about
ethnic food on airplanes.
Well, no, it was a serious discussion. I said we had this whole discussion because he was always in the media for saying something that was misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm.
And I never believed the media about such things because I know Spike Lee's work and I've read interviews with him. In any case, wait, Yellow Flash is here. Hail. Yellow Flash too. Hail. So I had this conversation with Spike Lee, and basically I said, look, it's kind of weird when you see a lot of white people kind of act like they're black. And I said it would be like if black people acted Irish and started doing Irish accents. So wouldn't that be weird? So I just didn't understand. Like he laughed, and we had this whole conversation about, and then it was like, hey, appreciating. There's sort of obvious appropriation, which is, and which, you know, I don't have a problem.
Someone mentioned in the chat, but it's more appreciation than it is appropriation.
Yeah, whatever.
To find something in another person's culture as interesting and wanting to celebrate that, how is that not a good thing?
Well, it would, you know, I don't know. I just think that there's a limit where it's just like you look kind of stupid. You could look stupid if you're doing it. I don't know. Anyways, Yellow Flash, always enjoy your work. I was telling everyone earlier, I don't know if you heard, I watch Flashcast on Saturday nights, but I'm playing video games. So I listen to it on the iPad. I have Yellow Flash on the iPad, and then I'm playing my PS5 on my television. You could be playing a PS5 too, Alan.
So yeah, okay.
Anyways, big shout out to Yellow Flash, who needs to start a show with he and Gary Beekler where they just talk comics, and that's it. That's it. And then, oh look, Yellow Flash says I followed Alan and he didn't follow me back.
Okay, I'll follow you back. I've been distracted this week. Sorry.
Okay.
I will follow you back. I promise I will follow you back.
All right. Well, Yellow Flash, I appreciate all your contributions, your honesty, and the people that you bring together to yell at each other sometimes, which I find highly entertaining. Fat Elvis says, passing on Ant-Man. Okay. I haven't seen it yet, and I always reserve judgment because I don't trust the media to be honest. I feel like the media kind of baits actors into saying stupid things, which they're prone to do anyways, because actors are kind of empty vessels that are fed talking points and kind of half remember them. So when you see actors saying dumb things in interviews, it's just, I blame the people who prep them. I blame their management and the publicists more than these are people who basically, you give them something to read, they pretend to say it authentically and get paid to do that. So, shock and surprise that most actors would be, would say dumb things in interviews. That's sort of, that's par for the course. But then there are actors out there that are very thoughtful, that understand the craft, that understand filmmaking, that understand the audience. People like Henry Cavill. So There you are. All right, back to your starred comments, and then we got to talk about a bunch of things. Andrew Mumpetit says, Alan, are you still getting that Disney shill money now that they're downsizing? Alan, are you?
I will say Ant-Man is a good movie, but not a great.
Introducing Sparkle.
And you should still pay money to see it. So there you go.
All right. Here we go. I think we have a miscommunication. Our guest is here, Carter Smith, who's supposed to be here actually at Carter. I don't know if you can hear what I'm saying right now, but you are supposed to be here at 11 a.m. today, Pacific time. It's 9:50 a.m. If you would come back at 11 a.m. So there was a miscommunication. My apologies, Carter. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Thanks a lot. Back to our chat comments and questions here. Before combs and brushes, we all had dreadlocks, says Pilgrim Media for 2. Interesting. Did we?
Not me.
I don't know.
It's always been straight hair.
No. Like think throughout history.
I understand. I understand that. I'm just saying for Asians, it probably wasn't that way.
When you look at like Renaissance art or art from, Greek and Roman times, like, I don't know, they didn't have dreadlocks. So Pilgrim Media, we may have to fact check you on that, Pilgrim Media.
I think, but I think Europeans definitely, Northern Europeans, Irish, I could believe it there, but yeah, I don't think my ancestors had dreadlocks.
Sporticus Live for 2 says, put me in the game, coach. I can do any job anywhere. Wait, what job are you talking about?
Oh, maybe producer?
All right. Well, you can
anytime is the key one though.
Well, yeah, you'd have to like pay attention on it. It's very simple. If you go to contact, you go to filmthreat.com/contact, you can just ask us a question. The producer role, we've had a couple people, and I'm kind of waiting. I want to see if Ryan can help us out. So there you go. All right, we're gonna.
Hey, I have an Allen's Corner. I could do it real fast. Just to
wait a second.
Back up on just a lead in from Velma here.
All right, let's.
All right.
Do you have
Roll
a banner for it? Do you have a banner for it?
Don't we have a general Allen's Corner?
No, we don't. Why don't you make one?
Okay,
here, go back to the chat here.
I have to do this on my iPad.
Yeah. So we're looking for moderators and for people to someone just to like select the chat comments and questions because we've got like 400 people watching. So
okay, I got a banner.
Okay, good. Is it all spelled correctly?
Yes, it is.
All right, let's get into it. Alan is here. And he's ready with another Alan.
Let's do this.
You've got a lot to say on this topic, and I really want to hear what you have to say.
All right, so let's talk about storytelling and this new style of storytelling that seems to be invading television nowadays. We've suffered through Rings of Power. We suffered through Kenobi, suffered through She-Hulk, and now we've suffered through Velma. And it's this idea of the new style of storytelling, which is far superior than traditional storytelling in the past. And I will tell you why it's not. We'll just do this real fast. The differences between woke and traditional storytelling. Traditional storytelling is about connecting emotionally with your audience and telling a story that people can relate to, and thereby gaining a broader audience to your story. Versus woke storytelling, which is basically lecturing an audience, judging them for not being a good person like me. And so that's the thing you get nowadays, is that you're being lectured to. That's to me what defines woke storytelling. You can have liberal ideas, you can have ideas that you don't agree with, but the whole point is, I'm going to take my idea and tell it to you in a way that you can relate to, versus woke storytelling, which says you're bad and here's why. The other thing is, traditional storytelling requires empathy. It requires the idea that I understand my audience, I understand where they're coming from, and I know how to connect with them and then tell them whatever message or story I want to tell them. Versus woke storytelling, which requires judgment. You're a bad person. I'm a better person than you. I am more enlightened than you, and so now I'm going to lecture you, preach to you, and by the end you're gonna understand why you are a horrible person. And I'll use The Last of Us, the last episode of The Last of Us, the episode 3, versus Knock at the Cabin. I don't really have a problem with the gay storyline in episode 3. I thought it was well told, beautifully told. But then you see all the news reports about it, about how the director wanted to trick his audiences, or the creator wanted to trick his audiences into watching a gay love story, which falls in line with, I'm lecturing you, I'm judging you. And guess what? This gay storyline, one and done. It'll never appear in the rest of the series, and checkbox done. So now they've fulfilled that requirement of not having gay characters or gay storylines in the rest of the series. Versus A Knock at the Cabin, the reason the gay storyline works in A Knock at the Cabin is because that story couldn't be told unless it was two gay men in the lead role or as the pivotal part of that story. There's this idea that in order to stop the apocalypse, these two people who love each other, one has to kill the other. If it was a traditional marriage, a man and a woman, 99% of the time, it's the man who dies. But in the gay relationship, now you can play around. You can say, well, which one is it going to be? Because both of them are willing to take the bullet. And now you have that conundrum. And that's how you incorporate, a non-traditional story into your story and make it pivotal, make it a plot point, a story point that has to be played out. And it's not tacked on just for virtue signal points. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think this is the fear that we have of television going forward, is when will the studios realize that maybe traditional storytelling that has been told for thousands of years still works and will still make them a lot of money. And there you go. Let's return to traditional storytelling. Chris, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I agree 100% that, and the chat has some great comments. They're just going to reflect a lot of what we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the traditional storytelling, I think is what people want. I actually believe it's going to take 2 years. It's going to take 2 years for Hollywood to pivot back to that. So
yeah, because they've already made all their woke films, and now something has to come along to tell them, hey, we're losing money here. We need to go back. We need to get real writers to write these stories and to mentor this new generation of writers.
Let's go to the comment. But yeah, I just think it's going to take 2 years to change it. It's going to take 2 years to earn the trust of the audience back. But when you vilify half the audience and tell them you're a bad person if you don't agree, that's I don't like it. It's very authoritarian. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Andrew Mumpetit says woke storytelling always seems to be really mean-spirited and malicious while preaching about being tolerant and inclusive. That's 100%. Also, have you ever been on social media? That's pretty much all of social media right there. Solomon Thornton, woke storytelling, all about diversity and no good morals. Traditional storytelling is all about connecting to your audience, creating escapism, and having good morals. Woke storytelling equals bad lectures, says Andrew Mumpetit. Alan Horkin, more story, less telling. The nerd far away, I'll take traditional storytelling any day. And Amanda Wicky's here. Always good to see you. In woke storytelling, the woman is always the best character without training. in a good story, telling the woman has to go through training. In a good story, telling the woman has to go through training and trials to be the best. Murdoch 86, storytelling versus story yelling.
Oh, there you go.
Patrick Lemire, a checklist isn't a story structure. And a couple super chats here. Eric Stratton for 777. Moon is a harsh mistress, had an aware computer wanting to learn humor categories. Funny always, funny a few times, funny once. Marvel Reddit. Moon is harsh mistress. Is that an essay?
Yeah.
You look that up, Alan. Eric,
if my internet
a super chat, just tell us more context for that. Swords and Starships, which has its own YouTube channel. Check out Swords and Starships. For 10, Captain Garrett here. I got called a MAGA proto-fascist for the first time on my new channel, Swords and Starships, for using the word woke. I'm so excited. It's like a rite of passage. Well, I think it's interesting. Like, there's certain movies we're going to talk about where that's not even, we will never bring it up because it's irrelevant. It's pointless. But it is a question that comes up from the chat. And I feel obligated to address questions I am asked. But it doesn't come up with every movie we talk about. It just, and hopefully it'll come up less and less. And Patrick Lemire says, smash that like button. Appreciate that, Patrick, that reminder. Smash that like button so this gets recommended and it helps the channel. Trying to go the channel. We're trying to get to 69,000. That's been the goal all along. I don't know how we're going to
69
get there, but at some point we will. All right. We have a lot to talk about because we have two filmmakers coming on in 45 minutes. So let's we're going to have to pivot here. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about
great picture.
Let's talk about Magic. Let's talk about Magic Mike's Last Dance. We ran a poll on the Film Threat YouTube channel asking who would you like to review Magic Mike's Last Dance. Alan has just seen all of the episodes of Velma every week. Why? Because you asked him to. We ran a poll, and I don't know if you could say that I won the poll, but I got the most votes, and it wasn't even close. It was like 69%.
60-40. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 69%. Sorry.
It was 60-40, I think 63% even, whatever it was.
No, but we'll go with 69.
We'll go with 60.
There you go. Clip that.
So I saw Magic Mike's Last Dance. I have seen the first film, and the reason I saw it is I like Channing Tatum. I think he's funny. Olivia Munn happens to be in that movie. I don't need to say anything more than that.
Oh, yeah, she is. Yeah.
She is in the movie in more ways than one. It felt a little awkward for me. I'm like, oh, former coworker in this movie. In any case, the first Magic Mike was kind of interesting. It's like this indie film about, it is a personal story for Channing Tatum because he was a male stripper. He that's how he started his career. He was a dancer, legitimately. And so it seemed like this organic thing. And then Steven Soderbergh, director, comes on, indie guy, and kind of forms a story around Channing Tatum's early career, kind of pre-professional actor as a male stripper, and all the stories that came from that. He kind of crafted a story. Was there I don't even know if there's a second Magic Mike. I assume there was, because I didn't see it. But when I saw the first Magic Mike, I thought, I'm not the target audience for this movie. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was fine. I'm not the target audience. Well, let me just say this. I saw Magic Mike's Last Dance at your request, and I saw it so that you don't have to. I don't even know if this is a movie for gay men, because I was in an audience, maybe like a half or 2/3 full, and it was all women. And I sat there with my friend Tristan, and the women were not just there in the audience. They were hooting and howling and screaming and woo, woo. It's the most rowdy audience. Now, I actually didn't mind the audience being super rowdy because it kind of added to the film. But my friend Tristan and I said, everyone's just going to assume we're a gay couple. because there's no reason that two straight guys would go see this movie. And I'm surprised even my friend Tristan showed up. So we sat there in the movie, the whole movie, didn't react, stone-faced, many times with our arms crossed. We looked like a gay married couple that had just gotten in a fight. And we sat there the whole time, like not reacting as these women. I mean, I've never seen a rowdier. I mean, I actually personally like an audience that reacts appropriately, applause, laughing, clapping here and there for stuff. I like that. I like an audience that is engaged with the film. That means they're not on their phones. But this audience was like they were at a strip club, a male strip club, and they were just going nuts. So I will say this. The story is incredibly stupid. The story is so dumb. If you've seen the trailer, you know the story. Selma Hayek's character is recently divorced, or she's going through a divorce. She's incredibly wealthy and rich. Channing Tatum's character, Mike, is he's lost his furniture business at the beginning of the movie, and lost the furniture business. So he's bartending at some big ritzy party where he meets Selma Hayek, who's putting on the party. It's a fundraiser. And, he's former stripper. So it's the same character as the previous film or films. Was there a second Magic Mike movie, Alan?
Yes, there was. I actually saw the second Magic Mike movie.
Well, maybe you can fill in the details. Was it the Empire Strikes Back of Magic Mike movies?
No, it wasn't.
Thank God.
I barely remember it, but
thank God.
Yeah.
So the story is basically Selma Hayek's she's recently out of this relationship, and she wants to hire, hears that he was a former stripper, and from a woman that who's at the party, and says, well, I want you to, I'll give you 60,000. I was give you like $6,000 if you give me a striptease dance. And he refuses. He doesn't want to be treated that way. And he does this dance. And the one thing I do have to give Steven Soderbergh credit for, there are no cutaways. Like, it's one shot that goes for 5 minutes. And it's just this strip dance for Selma Hayek. And I have to say this, Selma Hayek looks smoking hot in this. Okay. So the only thing that kept me in the theater, because I actually thought about leaving. I thought about, like, I don't want to watch this. I'm watching this for you. I'm watching this for you in the chat because I won the poll on our channel. So you forced me to see this.
You won the what?
I won the poll. But so I didn't really, all I'm saying is at least Selma Hayek was in there, and she is smoking hot. So when they're doing this dance, effectively you watch Channing Tatum and Selma Hayek have sex with their clothes on. That's how adventurous and active the dance was. It wasn't just, Channing Tatum doing the dance. It was, he's grabbing Selma Hayek, like her butt's in his face and other things in his face, and he's all over her. But he's got his underwear on and she's got her clothes on, and it's an amazing way to open the movie. This is within the first 20 minutes of the film. And then she's so taken with him. She's like, I want you to come to London. I just inherited this theater. We're going to get rid of this stuffy play that we've been doing. And we want to do a play with male strippers. So it starts off as you think it's a stuffy play, but why does the woman, this is the big question of the movie, why does a woman have to choose between love with a poor man or stability with a rich man? Why does a woman have to choose between the two of them? Why can't a woman have it all? So you got your, it doesn't hit you over the head with this messaging, but it is sort of on the nose. Like, a woman wants to have it all. I want a rich man who will do a striptease dance for me. So she puts this, she hires Mike. He doesn't even know that he's been hired to do this. You're going to create this strip show that starts off like some stuffy, Shakespearean drama, or like a Merchant Ivory film. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I looked at my watch. I went to the bathroom twice during it. and I was looking at the internet kind of in the hallway while looking at the movie. Look, I watched the whole movie. I was there right up until the end. And thankfully, it's under 2 hours. I think it comes in at like hour 50 or so. But and then it just kind of ends, right? Right at the climax, it ends. Boom. I will never see this movie again. I'm not going to go see another Magic Mike movie in a theater. And I'll say this: it's just I didn't hate the movie. I was indifferent because I am not the target audience,
and that's fine.
I'm not the target audience. I'm not target audience for this film, so I can't, in good faith, give it a bad review because someone else would see it and think it's the greatest film they've ever seen. It's Avengers Endgame with a batwanger between with a third leg. Am I putting this? I'm trying not to use certain words. All I'm saying is not the target audience, but and I'm not even sure if gay men will like this because it's not particularly gay, meaning it's very heterosexual. There's a final dance that Channing Tatum does with a woman in the show. She is smoking and she's barely wearing anything. So it's basically like a strip dance, that I was engaged. I'm not gonna lie. NGL. I learned what that meant recently. But no, so it's like, okay, like the attractive women kept me interested, and it's a very, very filled with heterosexual energy. I still think the movie's going to be popular among gay men. I'm just not the target audience for this film. So I can't recommend it. Not for me. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what I just said, Alan, but there you go. You got what you wanted, chat. You got what you wanted. Alan saw Velma. I saw this. So there you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for doing this for us.
It's all right.
Yeah. I will not be seeing this movie. Yeah. It's like a martial arts film. Hate to say it, it's like a porno. It feels like it's a thin story as an excuse to string together a series of male strip numbers. And that's what you get. And I think the audience reflects that. And I think it'll make a lot of money. People get criticized. We've been criticized for basically saying this movie's not for us. The Marvels, I will guarantee you, is not for us. But that's okay. Sometimes movies are meant for a specific audience. And it doesn't need to have a broad appeal. And its budget probably is respective of that.
Yeah, let's go to your comments and questions here. They're very funny, so let me get to them here. Magnum Norse for 20 says, as a Northman myself, I feel inclined to praise the Northman and cheers you, sir, for interviewing that man. Well, thank you very much. We have an interview with the director of the Northman on the Film Threat YouTube channel. Look that up. Eric Stratton for 2 says Robert Heinlein's book from the 60s, Moon Mistress. Oh, okay. It's a book. The reference to earlier. Well, thank you for the super chats. We got to get those first. And Thomas Pickett for 2 says, get Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk in some chaps. All right. Well, yeah.
That's how they should settle their differences, really.
True. Other comments here. Alan Horkin, vital review. How can we possibly know if the third film in the series will appeal to us without it? I saw the first film, and mainly also because I like Steven Soderbergh. I think he's a brilliantly talented filmmaker. Followed his career from the very beginning with Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I like his approach. I like his sort of indie approach to big budget movies. And also Olivia Munn was in the first one, so double the reason.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Yeah, double the reason to go see it. But I never saw the second one. I had no plans to see the third one until the chat.
I mean, the second one is not too far off from yours. It's just a story. The second one was about bringing the gang back together. And I think I saw it mostly because I'd never seen Kevin Nash in a movie, and that was the one.
Cool. A lot of these comments are not on topic here. I'm going to go with the ones that are on topic first. Brock Samsonite, you still have to do Barbie too, Chris. I'll do Barbie.
I'll do Barbie
just because it looks so weird. And they ran the trailer last night. It was weird. It looks weird. I like Margot Robbie. I know it's going to be, I'm probably going to hate it, But I don't know. I'm here's what I'm curious about Barbie. I'm curious about Barbie. So, Dude B says, "Were you impressed with the choreography?" 100%. Channing Tatum, if they gave an award for dancing, I mean, that opening, or like it's right in the first act of the movie when he dances for Selma Hayek, and it's like a 5-minute one take. It's just one shot.
By the way, when
what's going on in the background, Alan?
What?
There's a weird.
Oh, that's the dog. That's the dog chewing on a random dog toy.
Is okay.
Yeah, so when Channing Tatum's character was losing his furniture business, did he dance?
No.
Okay, because that's kind of how the second movie started, with Channing Tatum starting his furniture business. He made a dance out of it.
Yeah. Let's see. The Alex Zorba says Alan does not look very jealous.
No, I'm not.
Well, there you go. Look, if you are the target audience for this film, more power to you. I am not. And I think I'm done with the Magic Mike franchise. Our audience is done. The box office will tell. I will say this: opening night screening, 7:30 at one of the highest grossing movie theaters in America, AMC Burbank 16. And the theater was just over half full. So I don't know if that's a good sign. John Thomas for 10 says, Chris, you talk about not necessarily agreeing with what you read, watch. I agree 100%. Marco Cluse has a sci-fi book series. I can tell you we don't agree politically, but not preachy and great characters. Well, I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Let's pivot for a moment, and we're going to talk about another film. I'm going to talk about another film that I also saw yesterday. So yesterday I got to the AMC Burbank 16 I got there at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I got to the AMC Burbank 16 because why? Because I went to see the Titanic 4K re-release in 3D at the Dolby Digital Theater. To me, one of the best movie theaters, at least in the Los Angeles area. And I'm, you know what? Unabashedly, I love the first Titanic movie. My first Titanic movie, there is a movie called Titanic 2, and you can watch it free on Vudu. I'm not making this up. I started watching it. There's also the movie Thumbtanic. If you really want to go down a rabbit hole, who's that guy, Steve? He does the movies with the thumbs. Remember?
Yeah. Oh.
It's just like these thumbs that have faces on it. So there's a movie called Thumbtanic, and there is an exploitation movie called Titanic 2. If you have a Vudu account, Titanic 2 is free to watch with commercials on Vudu.
Steve Odekirk.
Steve Odekirk does the thumb movies. Anyways, why did I say the first Titanic movie? Titanic was a phenomenon when it came out, and it because this movie consistently made $20 million at the box office for 6 months and claimed the number one spot, from December all the way through. Just people kept seeing it multiple times. And I was one of those people. I've always, the story of the Titanic is so tragic. I've watched so many documentaries about it. I had this CD-ROM back in the time for the Philips CDI interactive player. No one knows what this is. It was a gaming system that was on CD-ROMs from Philips Interactive. They're the company that created the CD-ROM, the CD. When you see CD on something, they have the license. Anyways, they had this interactive disc that told you all these facts about the Titanic. And what was interesting is you could experience the sinking of the Titanic through different people who were on the ship and how they experienced the sinking. But look, I don't have a problem with this movie. I know this movie mostly has an appeal to young women. I think what's interesting about it is your dog. I can really hear your dog with the thing.
Yeah.
Any way to put a pillow underneath the bone, so to speak, pillow underneath the bone.
Let me go to my earbuds.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Alan.
Yeah.
It's just, it sounds like you're taking a cassette tape and putting it in a cassette machine. It's a weird noise. Anyways.
Is that any better?
No, it's worse.
Is it? Okay.
We're fraught with technical problems today. We have no producer. We got Alan's internet is garbage. We have dogs. It's great. It's a great day, folks. It's a great day. Look, and what's interesting is the 4K version of Titanic. This movie looks better than it's ever looked. Except there are a couple shots in the movie, and thankfully they're very quick shots where stuff looks very digital. There are like about 3 or 4 shots where you're like, oh, that looks like a PS2 video game graphic is what it looks like. So, and it didn't bother me because these shots are very quick. What I realized, like the success of this movie is what James Cameron did, and never bet against James Cameron. What he did is he took a typical cliched Merchant Ivory movie, where it's like, will they get married at the end? Will they get engaged? Will she engage this gentleman or that gentleman? I'm just going to mute you, Alan. So, basically what James Cameron did is he took a Merchant Ivory film that's a traditional film you've seen a million versions of, which is a sort of a Jane Austen type of story, and married it with an action movie. So you've got like this typical, like, okay, a woman who's engaged to this man who's rich, doesn't treat her well, but she meets someone who frees her spirit. Seen it before. It's happened a million times in a bunch of movies, Merchant Ivory films, Jane Austen novels. It's a type of movie. It's a genre of film, right? And I think Cameron recognized that this is very popular with women. What if I turned that story into an action movie? And that's what Titanic is. And I set it against the backdrop of the real history where these fictional characters interact with real characters in the film. The unsinkable Molly Brown, who was new money. But I like this. I mean, like the lengths that James Cameron went to show the spectacle of the sinking of the ship is incredible. It really is incredible. And I haven't seen it in the theater since it originally released in the late 90s. So I really enjoyed it. And seeing it in 3D, the good thing about the 3D, it doesn't go nuts on the 3D. It's not super crazy on the 3D. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. You've probably already seen the film. It's worth going back to theaters to see it again. If you're a fan, it's the best looking this movie has ever been. Make sure you go to see it at a Dolby Digital, because I think the Dolby Digital, the projection is just, it's just exceptional, incredibly bright with like, I love it. And the 3D isn't in your face, although it is a little disconcerting at times. You'll see like something is kind of in the foreground and you really feel it. It's like, but not in a like poking in your face, because Titanic was originally not shot to be 3D. So I love it unabashedly, and I don't care what the chat says. Let's go to your chat comments and questions. Shucksy says, hard pass on Titanic for me. Shucksy, I'm seeing it again next week. I'll meet you at Yard House.
You're not seeing Ant-Man next week?
No, I'm seeing Ant-Man next week. I'm kidding.
Okay.
Shucksy, Alan is the Titanic of the internet, says Daniel Stenistan.
I saw Titanic once, only because I felt I had to. And I really have no desire to see it again.
Rock Samson says, the Titanic looks like it's coming right at me. Jen McMahon says, Chris and Alan, when Titanic was originally released, I saw it 6 times in the theater, and with the first re-release, another 2 times in the theater. I love Titanic, says Jen McMahon. Jen, thank you for being a member. Also, thank you. Just like, I like the film. It's action-packed. It's filled with drama. It's the chemistry between Leo and Kate Winslet is palpable. I'm going to admit, have a crush on Kate Winslet. I also love like that era of the early 1900s and how much care and spectacle went into like, you know what? I'll do this. I'll share this on our community tab. I actually got to visit James Cameron's studio. A friend of mine works there in licensing. I got to visit. I saw the Heart of the Ocean, the actual necklace that was used in the movie, is in the office. It's right outside James Cameron's office. I saw the model of Titanic up close. I have pictures. I'm going to share it on my, I'll share it on our community tab. I'll share photos from my visit to James Cameron's offices. It was incredible seeing the actual model. The other thing is, a lot of things you don't realize are models. For example, the engine room, most of that is models. It's a model that's so you've got like, you know, this model of the engines kind of pumping, and you've got the people in the background. I mean, some of it kind of looks like a model, but I thought it was great. I love it, and I don't care. I don't care. You can make fun of me for it. Jen, see it again in Dolby Digital 3D. Go. You might get a little misty-eyed in those 3D glasses. Thomas Pickett for 2. So was there any magic in the film?
A Magic Mike. That's what he's from.
Oh, for Magic Mike. Not for me. Not for me. There was magic in Titanic. Brock, wait, no. Sorry. Getting to these other comments. Yeah. Fear the Turtle 21. Titanic is a very well-made movie. Bingo. Can't deny that. It's mostly not my cup of tea since I'm not a big romance guy, but the sinking sequence and all that is amazing. Just watch the second half of the movie. Get a ticket for Titanic at 3:00, walk in at 4:30. That's when they hit the iceberg, about halfway through.
Yeah, no, you can't deny. James Cameron makes epic movies. He's the only one who really does it right.
He's the only one that does it right, but it's a balance of, you create characters I care about. You care about the characters in the present day. You know, when you see Rose, the thing that really struck me was, because I haven't seen Titanic for years. I haven't seen it for years. Here's what blew my mind watching the movie. Was Rose at the end of the film, somebody asks her name, and she says, you know, her name is Rose DeWitt Bukater. And at the end of the film, because of Jack Dawson as a tribute to him, she says, my name is Rose Dawson. She changes her name when asked her name. She says her name is Rose Dawson, as one of the survivors of the Titanic. And it struck me like, oh, that's a lot like the ending of The Rise of Skywalker, when Rey says, Rey Skywalker. It's shot the same way. I haven't seen Titanic since Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker came out. And now when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, is that why J.J. Abrams just ripped that off? Did J.J. Abrams just rip off this moment from Titanic?
I have a new respect now for Rise of Skywalker.
No, I'm just saying, he did in fact rip it off? And I'm going to argue that he did. A freaking I hit share. J.J. Abrams ripped off his ending of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. He ripped it off from the end of Titanic. It's the same. It says Red Terror 1978, Rose Lawrence.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence being the first. Okay.
That's good timing on that, Alan. That's great timing. I'm just in this flow of this rant.
Oh, yeah.
We desperately need a producer to help us on the show that knows about things like timing and how to select comments and when to put them live. Anyways, the ending of J.J. Abrams stole his ending of The Rise of Skywalker from James Cameron on the show. You know what? I already said it. Do I need to do a rant? You know what, Mike? I'm really off today. You know what? I'm really off, and my apologies to everyone. I'm just off today. We got to get some
coffee.
Huh?
Yeah, you forgot your coffee.
No, I'm 1 cup in. Not enough, clearly.
I know.
Look, I said what I need to said.
Yeah.
It's enough for a short. I don't know what the fuck.
Plus, you saw Velma. So.
I saw Velma. I saw fucking Magic Mike. The best part of my week was I saw Titanic in 3D. What does that say? What does that say about the state of movies? I saw a movie that's more than 20. I saw a 25-year-old movie, and it's the best thing I've seen. What does that fucking say about the state of movies right now, huh? All right, we already said that one. Spidey Sensei 72 hated the fact that Leo couldn't fit on that door with Rose at the end of Titanic. Well, apparently that has been addressed. I know some YouTube channels, like they wanted to do like a test. Could Jacka fit on the door? I do kind of think it's sort of done. She lets him go because she's got to go get the whistle so she can be found. She's one of the few survivors. So I don't know. I just found it like while I'm watching the movie, it's like Rose Dawson. And I'm like, that's just like the Rise of Skywalker. And what's shocking about that is J.J. Abrams thinks that no one will notice. Of course, people are going to notice. Dream Profit for $4.99 says, what movie or movies have you guys seen the most in theaters? My record is seeing No Way Home 8 times in the theaters. Keep up the great work. Well, most recently I saw RRR 6 times in the movie theater. Maybe the last one was The Empire Strikes Back. I think I saw like maybe 10 or 12 times in a theater. I need to actually really think about that.
Yeah. I mean, Airplane is
you?
the only thing that comes to my mind.
How many times you see it?
I believe I saw it 8. A close second is my daughter and I. She was 6, and we saw Marvel's Avengers 7 times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Andrew Monpetit says, total side note, Chris, thanks for the suggestion to follow Fathom Events. They have some crazy theater re-releases. I'm looking forward to seeing Casablanca. Yes, that one was just announced. I love the Fathom Events. They're not part of A-list, but I don't know, grab a ticket to it. I saw Shin Ultraman that way.
Yeah, and there's a Fathom Event premiere next Wednesday.
Yes, Winnie the Pooh. I am going to see it. I have tickets. I'm going to see Winnie the Pooh. All right, now it's time to pivot, and we're going to get a quick review of Alan with a guest coming on in 15 minutes. Alan, tell us about the horror film Consecration.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, this is just one of those movies that I just, it's just not my wheelhouse. It's not. It's basically religious horror, specifically Catholic horror. It stars Jenna Malone, who is actually we're going to talk about her in a different film later today. Jenna Malone is a doctor. She's kind of an atheist. She learns that her brother is dead, and apparently the story is he murdered a priest at his convent and then threw himself off a cliff. And so she goes to the convent and basically she wants to figure out what happened. How did why is he dead? It doesn't sound like him to be a murderer. It doesn't sound like him to kill himself. And then as the film continues, she's paired up with a priest from the Vatican who's sent over to kind of deal with the situation. You got some crazy nuns involved. And throughout the course of the film, the mystery unravels, and you realize that Grace Gentleman's character was raised in an abusive family by an abusive father. She was adopted, and super religious, and that's kind of why she became an atheist, and ironically, why her brother stayed with the ministry. And so that kind of comes into play. In terms of horror, it's not that scary. I think when you watch the trailer and watch some images, it's really about the visuals, and a lot of it has to do with people jumping off a cliff and falling to death. Lots of images of nuns in white robes, blood. That's kind of where the horror comes from. It's just these startling images, and I just I'm just not connecting with this movie very well because I'm not Catholic, and so I'm not super in tune with what it means to be Catholic or what it's like being Catholic. And the Catholics I know, they're kind of on the street Catholic versus the political Vatican Catholic, which I think this is what it's going after. And so, it tries to, it's just a movie that tries to stir up these startling images, and I think that's where the appeal of this is. If you like Catholic horror, you might have a good.
I have to interrupt you, Alan. Keep saying in the chat they can't hear you.
Oh,
Your audio is static and it keeps hopping in and out.
Oh, jeez.
Can you hear me okay, everybody?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
You can hear me fine? I actually think I can hear you fine. People are saying it might be a USB. The audio is like 50-50. Choppy hearing Alan. Buffering. It break up on sound.
That's weird, because if you could hear me.
It says it's both of us.
Oh.
It's both of us.
So it might be a StreamYard thing then.
Might be a StreamYard thing, folks. I don't know. You know what? Alan, why don't we both leave and come back?
Okay.
All right. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Here, why don't you go off and then come back, and then because our guest just showed up. Okay. All right. So Chris is off. He's going to come back real quick. We're just kind of doing a reset here. I'm trying to figure out how to bow out, but okay.
How's my audio now, folks? How is it? Good audio now? Okay, good audio now. All right, that's good.
Okay. Here, I'll drop out. If I can find
Alan's audio good? Okay. My apologies, folks. Technical issues. It happens. It happens on a live stream. It just happens. So there you go. We're about 10 minutes away from bringing on our special guest at 10:45. So we're going to continue this discussion. Alan, how's it going?
Yeah. I mean, you sound fine. I don't.
Yeah. You got to get better internet, Alan.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Spectrum, and I think it's.
Hey, let me.
All right. Now Alan's frozen. All right. Alan, I'm going to take you off. All right. Let's go to your chat comments and questions here. And this is just about Consecration and also Titanic. Red Terror 1978 says the best part of Titanic is film theory proving why Jack is a time traveler. Interesting. Appian says Winnie the Pooh versus Cocaine Bear. Who wins? Well, that's easy. I think Cocaine Bear is going to win. He's hopped up on cocaine. MK Solid 82 for $4.99 says, Chris, did you catch when Kylo lands his TIE fighter right next to Rey's X-Wing in Rise of Skywalker? Well, so both the original toys were together.
All right. I'm going to pull. Oh, wow. Does that sound pretty bad?
It's okay. It sounds good to me.
Okay.
It's not sounding good to the chat. Chris, both the original toys were together. I don't remember that because I only saw that movie once. So, yeah. Want Biscuits, Alan's intro sigh said volumes about Consecration. Brock Samsonite, Jenna Malone is my secret love. Laura Buckles, Alan's heavy sigh is all we need to know. Fat Elvis says, sigh. And Brock Samsonite says, 400 people are watching. Slap that like button, please, and thank you. All right, well, Alan, your internet cannot be helped. Cannot be helped.
Yeah, so I'm going to go just audio here.
Okay. All right, Alan is here as audio. That's awesome. Alan, if you could be starring you could really help me if you star comments and questions for Robbie, because he's here. We might as well just like pivot. Let's pivot now. We're gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pivot. Because that's how we do things around here. And we are going to talk to the filmmaker and lead actor of The Outwaters, which is a horror film that is in release. I believe it's out today. Or early next week. He'll correct us when he joins the show. I want to talk a little bit about this movie before we bring Robbie on. I am a huge fan of the found footage horror films. When they work and when they hit really well. This film begins off, the Outwaters, with it's like you hear like this bizarre like 911 police call. Someone is hysterical, there's something frantic, some horrible things are happening, and someone is called 911. We then cut to like footage from a camera that has been captured. No context for any of this, with the exception of the 911 call. And we see mostly shot first person, couple out in the desert. Seems they're out for a good time. Things go south really quickly. What I really like about this found footage movie is the first person nature of it. The fact that like many of the times when you're seeing it, you don't know what's happening. And then when you realize what's happening, it's horrifying. It's freaking horrifying. So I want to bring the director on, Robbie Banfitch, to the show to explain to us. Robbie, hey, thanks for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. Got about 400 people watching us live right now. Tell us about this movie, The Outwaters, which is it out today or like today? It's out on video on demand today, and it's in theaters. It's in theaters.
No, it's only in theaters today.
Only in theaters today.
It came out last night. It'll be out through the weekend, and depending on how many people want to watch it, it may stay out or. But yeah, it'll be coming to streaming soon.
Cool. Well, congratulations for that. Tell us like what led to this. I mean, the found footage genre kind of crosses, like there's a lot of different types of found footage movies. I think it's probably horror is the best platform or best genre to use found footage. But what made you decide to make the movie this way?
I've always wanted to make specifically a found footage movie since the original Blair Witch Project. But I wanted to wait until I had an idea that to me felt unique and like I could do it. I could do the genre service or like do it right. You know what I mean? I wanted an excuse for the camera to keep rolling that felt organic and not bullshitting. And also I wanted to go make something and not wait to have someone, make something for me, if that makes sense.
And then also, how difficult was it to like, you're in the movie and you're directing the movie? What sort of challenges did that present?
That wasn't that difficult because mostly I was filming and behind the camera. So I wasn't really thinking too much about anything other than what was in front of the camera, which the character was doing the same thing. So that was pretty straightforward.
Cool. What now? There's a lot going on in this film. There's a point at which I don't want to give away any spoilers, but because you're seeing the first person view, it's something I can't recall ever seeing in a horror movie, which is you are the person that is the things are happening to. Does that make sense? Where like there's some creature in the desert, there are sounds and noises, and the camera, the person, the eyes we're seeing it through is the person that these horrific things are happening to. One, how hard was that to film? And then two, like, I think it adds a whole other layer of horror when you're just, these grotesque things are occurring. I don't want to describe it in super graphic detail, but it really got to me.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the point. You're supposed to be affected by this movie, but I thought it was particularly because a found footage movie, it's usually like you find the footage, you see what's going on, and then the filmmakers kind of make excuses for why you're seeing it. This was just the police found this footage on a camera and they're reviewing the footage is effectively the setup at the beginning. And then you see, the people being victimized by a desert creature, but they're the ones holding the camera. And then by the end, it just goes freaking bonkers. So maybe just talk about how difficult it was to film all that, because it gets pretty damn gory.
I don't recall too much difficulty other than certain moments with wind and being able to even like function out in the wind. There was a lot of heat, but that wasn't too bad because it wasn't like humid heat. Honestly, I felt like most of the filming went fairly smoothly. Most of it.
Well, let's go. We've got people in our chat that want to ask questions here, so let's get to the questions. How about Appion commenting Blair Witch, Project Cloverfield? Do you have any thoughts about those? Those are other movies that are found footage movies.
I mean, the original Blair Witch Project is one of my favorite movies of all time in general. I definitely tried to do the authenticity thing in terms of the performances and it actually feeling like real footage and not exposition and characters having fights about everything. So I drew a lot of inspiration from the very first Blair Witch Project.
Cool. Here's a out of the blue question here. Raylo Normie asks, Robbie, is the Jersey Devil real?
You know, I did a documentary on the Jersey Devil in high school.
Whoa.
Devil of the Barrens. And it was just an excuse to get out of a science project. So
Good.
that's actually like very shitty because I think I uploaded it to YouTube in like 2006, but that's on YouTube. If you want to search Devil of the Barrens, you can watch my janky Jersey Devil documentary. I don't know, but I met like family members of the Leeds family, which is according to the legend, the Jersey Devil is like the 13th child of Mother Leeds. So I did meet some Leeds.
Nice.
Yeah.
More questions here. Lubitsch Touch Me, who's a member, says, do you have a favorite horror film?
Candyman, the original Candyman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brock Samsonite asks, how different or difficult was it to film this movie in a way that makes it look more like found footage and not a big budget movie?
I just used a camera that was appropriate to what I could afford. And I think part of the problem I have with a lot of recent found footage movies is they look like they're regular movies, and I don't understand the point of that.
Yeah.
So I used a consumer camera.
Oh, that's interesting. I felt that way when I was watching the movie Missing, which I like those screen films. They're kind of like the step cousin of like your found footage movies are these screen films. And sometimes I feel like it's too slick. It's too shot. It doesn't feel authentic.
I'm generally anti-slickness anyway, whether it's found footage or not. I hate how clean and perfect movies look these days, and like the lack of grain and the lack of like blacks. So yeah.
Did you have much of a crew, like lighting and sound, or were you just going for full authenticity?
Cast was the crew. A couple days I had a friend drive out to help out with certain shots, but most of the time it was just the cast was the crew.
Cool. And then Lubitsch Touch Me also asks, who did your poster? It's amazing.
Keith Goulet at Keith G Designs did all the posters, and he is amazing. So I got lucky. He made a fan poster early on, which I really loved. And that fan poster is, he caught it at like a film festival. And I saw the fan poster, and that's what basically is the theatrical poster now with the Ange's face in the darkness. We all die in the dark, 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 dark. That was Keith's original design. But then I had him do like 13 more posters because I love a grindhouse vibe.
I do too. I love grindhouse posters. Let's see. What cameras did you choose for the look you wanted?
The camera I had, so it was just a Canon 70D.
Nice. Am I going to get motion sickness watching this, says Raylo Normie?
I don't know. I mean, I never got motion sickness from the original Blair Witch Project. I think it just depends on your brain and how that connects with your tummy. I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of the shot, I actually tried to balance out. There's a lot of still shots in the Outwaters, and there is a lot of motion stuff. A lot of the motion stuff is in darkness though. So, I mean, I don't know.
Cool. Let's see. The nerd far away asks, just for funsies, what do you like to use for fake blood?
Usually I make my own. In this case, I did that for one day, and I was like, I can't make this much fake blood. So I started buying a brand that seems to no longer exist. It's possible I just bought them out. But Well, a tip, because I cannot stand seeing like bluish or clearish fake blood in like $100 million movies. A tip is add other stuff to it, so it's a little orangey, or like put a little milk in it sometimes. A little cloudy.
Yeah, did your color correction help, like, sort of amp up the red in the blood?
There wasn't too much color correction. What you see is pretty much what I filmed.
Cool. Let's see. Someone's asking, and Dylan W asked, what was the budget?
It was like $7,000 to make it primarily, and then another like about that to do things like insurance and all that stuff. So not much.
Well, that's impressive, and it's in theaters. That's hugely impressive. Appion asks, who is your favorite director?
So Terrence Malick and Woody Allen's dramas, Francois Ozon. In high school, Dario Argento was one of my favorite directors for sure. There's a lot of scenes in the Outwaters and the early on with like that kind of Dario Argento lighting, with the neons and colors. So I mean, I have a lot. Jane Campion, Xavier Dolan.
Raylo Normie asks, what movie made you want to get into film?
Probably Jaws. It's just like the first favorite movie I ever had. Ever since I was like 3, I just loved Jaws, and I think must be Jaws.
And then any advice for beginning directors?
Listen to the audio commentaries and watch the making of documentaries of your favorite guerrilla indie films and see how they did it and take notes. And that's my practical advice. And don't wait it for anybody to, make something happen for you. Just got to go do stuff sometimes.
I would second that. I think Paul Thomas Anderson gave the same piece of advice and just said, listen to director commentaries. They're trying to educate you. One of the best commentaries, it's difficult to find now, is Martin Scorsese's commentary track for Taxi Driver. That one, there's just so many really good ones. Also, Steven Soderbergh is particularly good at commentary tracks. Do you have any favorite commentary tracks you could recommend?
Now, I can't remember if it's a commentary track or a making of or both, but Open Water, the way they made that film.
Yes.
It's on, it's either both or one or the other, but I would get that DVD and listen to and watch all that. That was extremely inspiring. It always stuck with me ever since I listened to / watched the behind the scenes stuff on that in terms of how they made that movie. Also, you could read the book 8 Days in the Woods about the making of the Blair Witch Project. Super amazing. It's also just like really fun to read if you're a fan of filmmaking in general.
And then 2 final comments and questions from Lubitsch Touch Me. Let's go. You mentioned Argento. Would you say there is any Gallo influence in this film?
Just in some certain scenes with the lighting, not plot wise. But yeah, I mean, I love pretty colors. So there's a scene where Michelle's singing and it's like blue and pink, red, and then there's dancing in the kitchen with like reds and green blues. So just color wise, but not plot wise.
Yeah. And then last question here from Lubitsch Touch Me. Do you have any future projects planned?
Yeah, my new movie, Tinsman Road, comes out premieres at a festival next month. It's a new feature that I shot while editing the Outwaters. Obviously the Outwaters is a little divisive, so I would say if you love the Outwaters, you might like my new movie. If you hate the Outwaters, you might like my new movie because it's a different movie. But yeah, it's shot on mini DV, and it's a straightforward kind of mystery drama that you would find in the horror section of the video store. So Tinsman Road next month.
Yeah. Is the Outwaters exclusive to Regal theaters? No,
it's playing in some Regals, some AMCs. Pretty excited about Nicole Kidman introducing the Outwaters. Playing at some Alamos, and then some Harkins, Malco's theaters. There's the OutwatersMovie.com has a running list of all the theaters that are playing. In Los Angeles, it's only playing at the Music Hall 3 at the Lumiere Cinema, so that'll be fun. And then a couple on the outskirts of LA as well. But just the OutwatersMovie.com has all the theaters.
Yeah, it's showing at my local Regal, so there's that too.
All right. Well, let's actually show that right now. I'm gonna I hope you don't. I'm gonna share a screen here. And Robbie, congratulations! You're a young
Yeah.
filmmaker. Your movie here is like hitting theaters. That's huge. You can go to the outwatersmovie.com to check out where to get tickets. This poster, look at this poster. Can you guys see this poster?
Pretty cute.
I have to zoom in on it. It has almost like sort of a Dune feel to it, a sense of mystery. Like I love this poster here.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you scroll down, there'll be different tabs of
I zoomed too hard, so to speak.
if you scroll down, that's where all the the theaters are.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you scroll down, but yeah, this movie is Oh, look at this. This is a decent theatrical release. That's huge.
Yeah, so each tab has different states by alphabet. There's like 4 tabs, and it's also playing in Canada as well. It played at the Rio back-to-back with Skinamarink, which was exciting, and it'll be in Toronto and Edmonton and a few other places.
Cool. Well, Robbie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here on the Film Threat Livecast. Your movie, The Outwaters, is out today, and you can go to theoutwatersmovie.com. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Later. Bye. That was great. That was awesome. This movie freaking terrified me and freaked me out because I'm not, if you watch the show or listen to the show, that like I'm not a huge fan of gore in films. So this movie definitely got to me. All right, Alan, let's switch gears.
All
Do
right.
you have any comments? Did I miss any comments from people? I think we had some good comments. And now back to back, it's a double feature today. It's a double feature of director interviews. We have joining us on the show, the director of Swallowed, Carter Smith, is joining us. This movie, it's a thriller. Jenna Malone is in it. It starts off as what seems like a simple, like, hey, you're being forced into smuggling drugs in your stomach in a balloon. But is that what is actually in the balloon? We don't know. I don't want to give it away. Look up the trailer for Swallowed. The poster for Swallowed is also an amazing indie film poster. If you follow the Film Threat Instagram, on Instagram, we posted the poster for it because it was just so shocking, the shocking image. I think it's worth checking out. So go check out the poster on Film Threat on Instagram. Carter Smith is joining us here today, the writer, director. Hey, Carter, how's it going today? You're a little early at the beginning, but that's all good.
You know what? I knew that it was 10:55 and somehow I had it in my head at the wrong time. So sorry about that.
Good. It's all good, man. Tell us about this film. Tell us about the story behind it. And I don't know that you want to give too much away, but give away what you can give away.
I mean, it started as just a sort of a story about 2 best friends, who grew up in this small Maine town, and one of them is moving off to LA, and his best friend wants to send him off with a pocket full of cash, to set him up, for his new life, and agrees to deliver a package over the border into Canada. And as things do, especially in movies like this, like everything that could go wrong does go wrong, especially when Jenna Malone shows up. And then, you can probably tell by the title that they end up swallowing these things, and it kind of goes south from there, and it ends up as sort of like a backwoods body horror thriller, sort of nightmare night that these two friends have to survive.
How did you get Jenna Malone to appear in the film?
Jenna, she was in my first feature film, which was The Ruins. So we had worked together before. We had a great experience, and we had kind of stayed in touch and remained friends, and always sort of had talked about doing something else together, and just hadn't found the right project. And this was the one when I was like, okay, this one's going to be small and lean and mean, but it's going to be really fun. So, and she was game.
Cool. And then these things that are swallowed, can you say a little bit about them? I don't know how much you want to say,
Yeah, well, they're not drugs. I mean, I think that that's, you know, that
Yes.
the reveal of them not being drugs is, you know, is something that I'm happy to talk about. But like, you know, exactly what they are, I think that part of the horror of the film is, you know, with the characters sort of trying to figure out like what it, you know, they don't know until after they've swallowed these things that they aren't what they think that they are. So that's kind of the, you know, the unspooling of the horror of it all.
Well, we've got comments and questions from our audience, over 300 people watching live.
Yeah, I should mention our review of Swallow just posted this morning. Bobby gave it a positive review, and he mentioned that Jenna Malone is the MVP of the film, and that you take her. Yeah, she's basically a much tougher Jenna Malone than we're used to.
Oh yeah, she's a badass in this movie. She's tough. You know, she's you know, she's small and soft spoken, but definitely it was fun to put her in that role.
Cool. Let's check it out real quick. It's on the front page of Film Threat as we speak. There we go.
Glad you like the poster too.
Oh yeah, the poster is so great. It's
thank
sort
you.
of a shocking image.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. Let's go to the comments and questions here. More comments and questions. Very cool having directors on the show. Awesome, says Rida Ibn Muhammad. Eric Stratton says, not Chris Gore, Chris, just a bit of Gore. They're referencing the fact that I'm a little timid when it comes to films that have gore in it. I love horror movies, but I like horror movies that are more psychological horror, which I think your film fits that category of more psychological horror.
Yeah. So there's actually very little blood in my film. There's some other body fluids and mucus and, you know, that kind of stuff, but it's not blood.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Jenna Malone, Heart says, Jamie G, Voltaic Blood. And then Lubitsch Touch Me says, I loved The Ruins, underrated film for sure. And then
people have been coming out of the woodwork like that. It sort of went under the radar when it came out, and only in the last couple of years has there been this rally cry of people who are, you know, The Ruins super fans, which is all nice.
Some weird comment question here. Raylo Normie asks, how much drugs have you smuggled? Or are you aware of the business in the industry for authenticity's sake?
Not at all. It was a completely fictitious take on what I imagined the backwoods smuggling chain might look like. I'm happy to say.
Yeah. And then someone from our chat, Dylan W, says, I've done that.
Oh.
It is super, super dangerous. Had it attached to a fishing line, knotted around my molar and the condom.
Oof. That sounds awful, Dylan.
Holy Dylan, dude. That is I don't know if you want to give any more details, but wow, I never thought of that. You could attach it to a molar. But what if you
I would think it would be easier to let it go, to take its natural course rather than trying to pull it back up.
Yeah. Dada Debaser says The Ruins was very underrated. So, and Jen McMahon, who's a member, says, I'm getting Lucy vibes. I'm intrigued about Swallowed. Any comment on that?
I don't know. What are Lucy vibes?
Is that the Jennifer Lawrence movie or?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like Lucy. I'll just say that. And then the nerd far away asks, what made you want to make this movie?
So this was a film, like this was a tiny little indie production that we made in the backwoods of Maine with a lean, mean crew of like 8 people, not counting actors. And so it kind of came from the, you know, the position of like, you know, as a director, you spend a lot of time waiting around to get financing, to get actors, to get, you know, pieces into place to make the film. And that can be pretty frustrating and can take a lot longer than you want. And I was just like, I wanted to go and make a movie that I could make, and I could call up my friends and we could go and just make it without having to wait around for someone to sort of say, you have permission now to make this movie, go and do it. So it was definitely like a, you know, it came from that, just from the, you know, the urge to just make something.
Cool. And then let's see, do you enjoy working post-production? Says Akanika.
I mean, there's my editor who edited Swallowed, who's also a sound designer. I actually really like being in post and editing, because there's something like, you know, as a photographer and as a filmmaker, it's very rare that I'm ever like going to a job and sort of on a normal schedule. And I find, going to an office and sitting down and working for 8 or 10 hours a day is actually kind of a nice change from what I'm used to, which is like freelance and traveling, and there's something kind of great about it. Like, yeah, I felt like a normal work, like a real job.
And then is it true you directed an S Club 7 music video?
Yes, it is. Reach for the Stars. If you can, it's really hard to find this video, but it is, I mean, and I don't even think that the band or the management understood it at the time, but it was S Club 7 riding around in this magical sailboat ferry bus, giving out hallucinogenic psychedelic candies to all of the local people that picked it up on the street as the bus drove by, who all started tripping and became rabid S Club 7 fans.
Let's see. More questions here. Raylo Normie says, do creators need to go to school to be a filmmaker?
I don't think so. I didn't. I mean, I went to a short little program at the New York Film Academy, but I certainly didn't go to film school. But I will say, like, as working as a photographer for years and years was definitely training for, how to communicate with collaborators and how to work on set and how to, some of those skills I think are more important than probably the stuff you learn in school.
What did you learn from the New York Film Academy that basically what did you glean from it that made you a better filmmaker?
I mean, I think that, it was the first time that I had worked on shorts with a crew, like, I crewed on other people's films, they crewed on mine. More than anything, it was just kind of interesting and exciting to like have a sense of community, which I think is something that, like, with filmmaking, like being surrounded by other people that are, that are sort of into the same stuff is really valuable. I mean, we did shoot on 16 and cut on Steenbeck's, and this was, a long time ago when the New York Film Academy was, not what it is today. It sort of has grown into something much bigger. Our class was like 12 people. But it was about the community more than anything. That's what I loved about it.
Cool. Vic Rules 666. Do you use storyboards for your movies?
I do some sort of like little chicken scratching type things myself, especially if it's like an action sequence or an effects sequence. But on a movie like Swallow, there wasn't a ton of that. But on a bigger film, if you're doing anything with visual effects or anything like that, then yes. I mean, I would love to do it for every shot of every single film, but there usually just isn't the time or budget for that.
Cool. Few more questions here. Lubitsch Touch Me asks, considering Mike Patton only recently started acting again, what was it like working with him?
Mark Patton is incredible. He's, he has, he has been doing the sort of the horror convention circuit for a long time. And I first I saw him in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is, when I was a kid and when he was a kid, basically. And then when I saw the documentary Scream Queen about his experience making that movie, I just became fascinated with him as a person. And, for him to come back and be able to jump into a role like this, like, it's a juicy role. Like, he is unhinged and, as sort of vicious and queer and, dangerous as, the worst villain ever. And so it was really fun to play with him in that way, where he didn't have to worry about being like the good boy or the hero.
Question here from Ryan Landis. How long did it take for you to write the script, and were there any major changes during filming?
I wrote the script in about a month, which is very fast for me. Usually I labor over stuff for a long time. But this, I think because I set such a specific set of sort of guidelines for myself, like, I'm only going to write things that I know that I have access to. Like, I've got this cabin, the cabin that we shot the film at is an off the grid cabin that my dad built. And so I was like, I'm only going to use things that I know that I have. And that was actually really helpful in keeping me focused and keeping the storyline, sort of streamlined. And there weren't that many big changes. I mean, there was changes to dialogue and there was changes to, moments within scenes, but structurally, it takes place almost in real time over the course of one horrific night. And so there wasn't a lot of like, extra stuff that we added or stuff that we ended up taking out. There was like one little sequence that we shot that we ended up cutting, but that's the only thing that we shot that we didn't use.
Brock's Samsonite, just final questions here. Is this streaming now or coming to theaters soon?
This will be streaming on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And you will have to watch it at home in a dark room with your phone in a drawer with the sound turned up loud and
with your loved one.
And with your loved one. Or if you hate Valentine's Day, it's kind of a good movie for that too. Because it's a little twisted.
Oh, cool. And then any chance of a UK release, asks James Woolard.
Yes, we have a UK distributor. I'm awaiting news. It shouldn't be too long. I'm heading over there in March to kick it off. So that'll be coming up.
And then last question, Raymond Britton White asks, great show, homies. Any screenwriting tips? You said you wrote the script in a month. That's fast.
I mean, I would say set your parameters, set your sort of guidelines of, I mean, if you're trying to write a script that you can actually make and you want to make yourself, kind of come up with the stuff that makes sense that you have and don't, follow the shiny new thing and start writing spaceships and hospitals and huge crowd scenes. And I mean, sort of focus on what you have access to. If you're writing a script that you want to try to make, in the real world.
Cool. Well, I want to say thank you, Carter Smith, for joining us on the show. Your movie, you can go to actually filmthreat.com and check out a review of Swallowed today. And on February 14th, could not be timed better.
Yeah.
You can watch, you can tell your significant other, we're going to watch a movie called Swallowed.
Get them all excited. And then, yeah, exactly.
Cool. Carter, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
Talking to you. All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Later. Bye. That was great. Carter was great. And you know what? Carter was early. And I love someone that's actually, who said the secret to being successful in Hollywood is just be on time, like literally be on time. And to me, on time is 15 minutes early. Mm-hmm. That's on time. So there you go. Any final comments, questions from the chat? I just want to say thank you. We've suffered through some technical issues today, so I want to apologize for that and say we will do better. I feel a little off today. I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, we just had things going wrong here and there, and I think StreamYard is having some issues.
StreamYard's having issues. Alan's having
clearly
problems with the internet.
But at least we found the Jenna Malone movie to watch.
Yes. Imperfect says anti-Valentine's Day film. That's great. And Ryan Landis says, congrats on the movie. Great interview. Thank you, Carter, says Brock Samsonite. Swallow, not a porn. I swear, says Imperfect. Yeah. And
but let's just say that we've got some exciting indie films coming out. We, as much as we've been trashing the mainstream stuff, why am I blanking on the last film? The Outwaters. That's in theaters.
Wait, Alan, and on time. Alan Organs, tell us more about being on time. Hey, we're like, I don't think Film Threat's more than just a few minutes. Like we have sort of a set timer, and that's like so that we're ready. But we're not like flitting about. I mean, we're very simply setting up the show. We're trying to get graphics, getting links, getting what we're going to talk about. So normally, what we're doing is.
And on 2 occasions, without my knowledge, we started early.
Yes, I know. Should I just keep doing that? I can start the show on time.
We can just do the behind the scenes.
Alan and I like looking for links. If that appeals to you, we'll start on time every time now. If you think that's interesting to watch, but it's Alan and I going like, hey, could you bring up the Swallowed review? Could you bring up the graphic for Raylo Normie says, I picked y'all over Gary playing Hogwarts and Drinker on Midnight's Edge. Love you guys. Oh, well, thank you for that. Thank you. And Bill, I go to like highlight a chat and I go to the wrong one.
Now you know how I feel.
Bill S. Preston Esquire said, Chris isn't late. He's giving time for stragglers to arrive. Truth. I stall at the top of the show so that we've got the largest audience when we're talking about our main topic. I will literally stall for the first 10 minutes of the show, sometimes 15 minutes, because I want everyone here to like, okay, is everyone here? Is everyone here? All right, now I can play that new Alan video, or I can like, whatever we can get into our main topic, because I don't want people to miss anything. And I want you to have the opportunity to participate. So, yeah, Brock Samsonite says, honestly, these director interviews do more for me wanting to see a movie than the actual trailers do. Well, yeah, you can get like, look, I'm not going to tell you that every movie we talk about here on an indie scale is a home run, but it's worth looking at, because I believe that we are in need of a new generation of filmmakers who aren't just going to like sit around or going to say, I'm just going to make a movie. I'm just going to make a movie. I'm tired of waiting for Hollywood to make the movie I'd like to see. I'm going to make the movie I'd like to see, and I want to show it to you and share it with you. So that's sort of the mission statement and the purpose of Film Thread, is to present these movies to you, bring on the directors to talk about them, and to have a conversation that involves you, so you can directly ask the questions of these filmmakers. And every filmmaker's got different advice. Gun Ho Max says Chris needs his 11 a.m. coffee first. Tell me about it. I am going to have a second cup of coffee as soon as the show is over. So there you go. Dylan W says, yes, make it ourselves. And Raylo Normie says, in all honesty, do you guys think Star Wars is salvageable? I think superhero movies are officially dead to mainstream public. Well, two things. One, Star Wars is dead. And I'll tell you how I know this. I watch another YouTube channel, Drunk 3PO, which is a guy named Jay from Florida. Super nice guy. He teaches the 5th grade. No one in the 5th grade wears Star Wars anything. The kids at that age don't care about Star Wars. What are they wearing? Marvel t-shirts, their favorite characters, their favorite movies, all about Marvel at that age. Now, that tells me superhero movies may be of less interest, but I think you're going to see superhero movies evolve into something else. We'll see. We'll see what James Gunn does.
I'll tell you how to salvage it. You have to fire everybody at the top, and I think that's what essentially DC did.
Yeah,
they put James Gunn in. He seems to be a comic book fan. He seems to understand what audiences want. We'll see, but that's the only thing that's going to save Star Wars. Is everyone at the top now is tainted. They have no clear vision of how to fix it, and so you need that fresh start.
Imperfect says superhero movies are just oversaturated.
No, they're just bad.
True.
Yeah, I'll see 20 good superhero movies.
Well, I don't know if I could do that. Really old movies says Star Wars is dead. Superhero movies aren't. They are like Westerns. They'll last even longer. Yeah, I would agree. Star Wars, though, as a franchise is dead. No Star Wars movie how many Marvel movies have been in theaters since 2019? And remember, there was all the pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
How many can you count going back, Alan? How many Marvel movies have been released since 2019? That is the question.
I mean, it's well over 30.
Can you count?
2019, you said? Since
2019. Here's why I'm asking the question. In 2019, this is a serious question. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, was the last Star Wars movie released to theaters in 2019. There have been 0 Star Wars movies released since 2019 in theaters. How many Marvel movies? Just Marvel movies.
Well, 3 a year. That's 12.
Can you count for me, Alan?
Yeah. So 2019.
Let's go to IMDb. 2023.
2021. 3.
It's not 3 a year.
That's
There's been
12.
Specific movies. There was a break. How many can someone in the chat answer?
Okay, between that.
Alan.
This is why my internet's not working.
Alan, you can get an answer to this. Are you looking it up?
I'm trying to.
Alan,
this is reason my internet.
Alan, 10 seconds.
Cut the blue wire, then cut the red wire, but only if the third wire is yellow.
Alan, I know you can do it, Alan. Do it.
Pull the flange.
Hold on, Alan. Hold on.
69.
Alan, 1 second. Perfect.
Sparkle.
What? How
It's
many
9.
bottles?
We're talking 9.
You actually counted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10. It's 10.
Okay, so 10. Okay, so what does this tell you about what franchise is dead?
Yeah.
It tells us that Star Wars can't get an audience theatrically. The progressively, the Force Awakens made over 2 billion. And then when you get to the Rise of Skywalker, it made half of that, less than half of that. What does that tell you about people's interest in the franchise? I think when they misused the legacy cast, people were out, and the new cast didn't solidify the fan base that the original did. It just didn't. As much as, some of these characters are very likable, BB-8, Finn, whatever, Poe, Rey, they're fans of those characters. People don't love those characters the same way they love the original Star Wars characters, which were 100% completely misused. I mean, Brock Samsonite goes on. It could, if they hadn't thrown Lucas's outline for the sequels out. Now the fan base is jaded and checked out. The last nail in the coffin for me was Kenobi.
Yep.
That's it. And clever Luther Talbert says no movies and Andor was pretty good and no one cares. Dead.
Yeah, that's the shame of Andor is that it lives in this universe.
Yeah. I also got tired of Desert Planet, says Ryan Landis. Are there fans of those characters, says Vice? I mean, are there people that I'm a super fan of Rey? Now I've seen a lot of Rey.
Yeah, I think there are. But
Right.
I don't know that it's necessarily her story that people are a fan of.
Yeah.
She makes a great cosplay.
Dream Prophet says Fast X trailer just dropped. It's almost too stupid to be believed. Vin Diesel looks CGI. Great show today. How do I become an intern? We have several intern projects, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
You go to, I'll tell you exactly how, Dream Prophet. You go to filmthreat.com/contact, say you want to be an intern, but say that you saw this on the show. I have an intern project that I want to do, Alan. Some of them are not very sexy. So it was revealed to me, I made friends with a guy. I don't want to say his name right now because I don't know if he wants it public. Made friends with a guy at Star Wars Celebration last year who is a data analyst, and he works with Google. And he did a data analysis of all of our data from Film Threat. And you know what he realized? A lot of our traffic comes from YouTube to the website. But one of the biggest was that a movie put on their trailer, they put a link to the review on Film Threat from their movie trailer, and we got a ton of traffic from that. And he proposed some action items. The action items are, you should take all of the movies that you review on Film Threat on YouTube and put a link to the review on filmthreat.com on our reviews on YouTube. That's a project. I mean, it's something that would probably take just a couple days, but it's a matter of going through every clip and review and then just insert into the YouTube description. Here's the link on filmthreat.com to read a full review of Swallowed, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Alan's going to hire that person. Here's how people will say I can be annoying. I don't just do a job. I do the shit out of a job. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do the fuck out of it. And I suggest for any of you out there that want to be successful at anything you do, you want to be a film critic like Alan, you want to write reviews, you want to make a movie, you do the shit out of it. You don't do it halfway. You go all the frickin' way. So having done Film Threat now for as long as I have, since 1985, I've never done it half-ass in my opinion. I do it now. Have I been perfect? No, made a lot of mistakes along the way. I've learned a lot. You learn by doing. College is overrated, folks.
Hell yeah.
I think it's overrated. I think that we learn by doing. My dad said this to me. My dad said, well, because he had a degree at college and, went for computer science, all this stuff. He goes, well, because I think you use what you learned in college for about the first 6 months when you're at work. And after that, it's all learning on the job. College is really to delay you getting in the workforce so that you mature. And I think that's actually really true. So anyways, hey, thank you for that. Hey,
Yeah, I just want to point out,
sure.
David Glenn, someone called Rachel Riley. Let's just say David and I are probably the only person in this chat who understand this countdown reference. So
Love it.
Just pointing it out there. It's an interesting comment.
Razorburn says, Chris, you going to Dragon Con this year? I want to. College is adult daycare, says Imperfect. And the meaning I want to, like if they invite me and give me a badge, sometimes they put me up and then they have me do a bunch of panels. I'm all about it.
But just showing up.
I would need to be an invited guest. So there you go. College is the Play-Doh factory of corporate conformity. I always felt that. I always felt like college was like, we're just going to make you into a good worker. Where I feel like you almost in a way, and this happens also working at corporations, you learn bad habits. Where I've worked for corporations, I did go to college for a couple years, about 2.5 years. And then I dropped out because I was like, well, I'm starting this thing called Film Threat. I can either pay for my college tuition because I was working 3 jobs. I had newspaper routes. I worked at a video store during the week. And then I worked restaurants on the weekend. And then I started Film Threat and I said, I can't balance all these. Why am I spending all this money on college to be told to read a book and then regurgitate the contents of the book as proof that I've read the book? I could just get all the books that they assign that you need for college, and I can just read them myself without your supervision or without providing proof that I've read it. And I'll glean from it what I like. So yeah.
Let me tell you the economics of it. You're $100,000 in debt with a college degree. Are you going to make that $100,000 back?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the state of college today.
WonderCon meetup in Anaheim says all twisted up 100%. That's happening. I pitched some panels. It's going to happen. Maybe in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. So if you live in the Austin, Texas area, Alan and I will be in Austin, Texas. I believe it's March
9th or March 10th.
March 10th through the 13th. We're actually arriving March 9th. And then we'll be there for the weekend. We'll find a way to shoehorn in some sort of meetup. So there you go. Elliot Cecil for $1.99. Have you watched Poker Face from Rian Johnson? I have not, but I would like to see it because I like that lead actress. Vice says, dang, hustling, Chris. I'm just trying to hustle. Look, if you invite me to a thing, I'd love to go. Yeah. And then Cavatino Cavalryman Shade just watched the trailer for Swallowed. What the hell? So,
Happy Valentine's Day.
And Raylo Normie says, I'll be there. Where? Austin, Texas, Anaheim for WonderCon, or Atlanta, Georgia for Dragon Con. Brock Samsonite says, if you guys are going to be around Houston at all, when you're down there, check out the Rothko Chapek. It's fantastic, free little art gallery. Well, that sounds cool. Raylo Normie, Austin. Yes, I want to go to the Jackalope. And I'm going to go to the Jackalope. I'm going to get photos on top of that giant rabbit that's in the lobby. And I plan to drink a reverse cowgirl, which is my favorite drink at that bar. That is a real drink. That was the last time I was in Austin, Texas. They had a drink called the reverse cowgirl. Yes, I know. Mock me all you want. I'm riding the Jackalope on 6th Street in Austin, Texas, and I'm drinking reverse cowgirl. And I might go see some movies.
Yeah, Rothko Chapel. Rothko Chapel.
All right, cool. Someone called Rachel Riley. Fear the Turtle 21 says, case in point, I have a psych degree, yet my whole career has been in cybersecurity. Literally no psychology ever in my career. Yeah, it's weird. You know, I have a lot of thoughts about college, but I feel that they need to teach principles and values, because those will serve you in the workplace better than stuff from a book, which we know the facts that are in a lot of those books can vary, and there are people who have opinions about those facts. That's all I want to say. You might want to do some outside reading. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up for us today. I want to just apologize for all the technical issues we had today on the stream. Alan is going to get good internet right after the stream ends.
Yeah.
He is going to explore either upgrade, or he's going to call and complain, because this happens too often. So it's something
Too often lately. I don't know what's going on lately.
Well, you can call and complain. I'm very good at that. If you get me on a customer service call, I'm a guy who can get things done. That's all I want to say. But I want to thank you, the audience, for sticking with us through the technical issues, and for, rather than watching Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which of course you can always watch the replay of their streams, or you can watch the replays. I appreciate you being here live and spending your morning with us, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. We will be back next week, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, February 14th, for a live stream talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Alan and I are seeing the movie on Monday
night.
And we'll have a special Tuesday stream, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday streams next week. Anything else you want to say, Alan?
Just head over to filmthreat.com. A lot of reviews going up, a lot of indie reviews, great alternatives. Check that out.
Cool. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Later.